C started with 3 and I went to 2, and then what comes after that would be 1.
Happy Friday! You are watching the Local Twist with Tam and Disch, brought to you by Studio One Salon and Day Spa.
And Napa Auto Parts, Park Falls, and Mercer. 715-762-3717.
Not known as NAP, as in what Paul does on Friday afternoon.
Friday afternoon speaking.
New this week, we have a great new thing from Studio One Salon and Day Spa, 715-339-2577. We have a trivia question for you. What is Studio One's number one selling product? If you know, Studio One is going to give you a full-size can of this.
How do you win?
All you gotta do is comment. The first one to comment right here, below here, is going to win that. And all you gotta do is give them a call, 715-339-2577, if you want to know any more details. Or if you want to cheat.
So they gotta go to, okay, so the YouTube site, they got a little comment bar right down here.
Mm-hmm.
And the first person to comment on it.
Comment on it right there.
Okay.
That's it. That's all you gotta do.
There. Got it. Okay. Also, quickly from Napa, just cover this. Very cool. This month, you spend $25 on anything. You will not only get a Napa racing hat, but they will also donate $1 to the Fallen Heroes Fund, which is very cool. Get to Napa, spend $25, give those Fallen Heroes $1. Talking this week about clumsiness. Clumsy hunting.
Not clumsy hunting. Clumsiness.
Okay.
Speaking of which,
clumsiness hunting. We are also going to talk about
hunting preferences.
Yes, hunting preferences. Not hunting in general, hunting preferences. We are going to talk about
the other words for hump day. There's a lot of people that are complaining about, I had enough of the camo.
And then also we're going to let you know what's coming up next week. But first, let's get to the show. Funny thing, and we're only going to cover this once a week. I know we do it every week. But this was too good to pass up, and I know we're short on time, but funniest thing that we read in the paper this week.
Oh, yeah.
By far. By far. Man calls in to the police department. It says as he was walking around the house in the morning, he noticed that his house had been struck by a vehicle. My question...
Is he a deep sleeper? Maybe he works third shift.
How do you not notice when it happens? Like, how quiet is a car hitting your house?
And let's go back to what we always say. He was probably highly intoxicated, or a deep sleeper,
it could have been
or
a
he
deep
worked
sleeper.
third shift, or his wife was
everything
yelling.
revolves around alcohol in northern Wisconsin.
No, it does not.
And getting us onto our next subject, hunting preferences.
And I'll be very brief, and I'm going to say first.
There's a lead into this, so this is why we're talking about it.
I do have to say that I respect everyone's hunting preferences. However, let me get straight to the point. I hunted.
You built something very nice for Jason. What?
Well, I provided the materials, and actually Jason built a very, very nice deer stand in our backfield because we're on 10 acres and no trees. So
and if you haven't seen it, Facebook stalker. She loves
it is really nice, and we were fortunate enough to get some windows from my Aunt Gloria and put those in there. And basically, it's a really good place to sit out and watch the sunset in the evening and have a few milks and watch the wildlife come and go. It's lots of stuff going on in our backyard. However, when deer season and rifle season does come around, that is where I will be, and for this sole purpose, because I want to put some venison in our freezer. I get very sad when I shoot the deer. However, if I could figure out how to get it to walk into my freezer and package itself, I'd probably do that. But I had somebody, and I just love him. He's a great hunter, great sportsman. Very upset that I would be unsportswomanish-like and sit up there.
Is that even a word?
That it was kind of like shooting fish in a barrel. I'm not one of those people that's going to go out and I'm clumsy. It's not a good idea to send me up into a tree in 6-inch heels.
Because that's what everybody hunts in. Why wouldn't you?
So I do trade them in for the
those are beautiful stilettos. Where are you going? I'm calling out, honey.
However, what face was that?
I have no idea.
I've never seen that face before. But I'm not going to go sit in a tree on public land and wait for days and days and days and days to get or may not get my deer.
When you know that there are deer in the backyard.
I have 10 acres. It's going to be going through the checkout lane. Payment is going to be, one shot. And I have fear that if I were to shoot a deer out in the wild and outside of my 10 acres, that I would wound it and it would wander around, and I don't want to do that. And I apologize to the people. But what about you? Because I know you bow hunt even.
Yes, I do. And I sit out in the woods. I have a climber. I find a random tree on federal land, on county land, and I climb up it and sit. Now, are deer going to pass by? So far, no. So deer, if you're watching, please take a memo. Just walk by. You don't have to be in shooting distance. You don't care. I just want to see you. Know that you're there. That'd be appreciative. I have seen a lot of beautiful birds. I've had birds land on me. Chipmunks crawl on me.
Would you hunt in an enclosed structure?
Absolutely. Hands down. If it's like, I have a tradition where I bow hunt every year on New Year's Day. Now, I understand that it's stupid because it's freezing cold on New Year's Day, but I do it. I've never shot anything on New Year's Day, but I always go out. But if I had the opportunity to go out and sit in an enclosed stand and do that and still fulfill the stupid obligation that I have to myself, then I would do it. I see nothing wrong with it.
I was just a little surprised because I had never seen that much, venomous against in an enclosed structure. And in Catawba area, there are several like that. And I think a lot of people that, as we get older or we are accident prone as I am, you don't want to sit out there and possibly injure a deer or freeze. I'm gonna commit some hours, but I would just like to get it in my freezer. That's all I'm gonna say.
Over and over. And to your point, what you have built or what Jason has built,
it's gorgeous.
It's not only gorgeous, but it's honestly, it's a shanty compared to what I've seen. I mean, I know people who have condos that are 12 feet off the ground, where you go in and you get there at 3 o'clock in the morning and you sleep until 5 or whenever the sun comes up, and you're sleeping in a couch. You wake up and sit in a recliner, staring out a window. Open the window, shoot it, or even if you don't see anything in the morning, you go back and lay back on the couch.
I don't think I'd get that far.
Yeah, exactly. But I've seen condos on stilts.
I didn't tell you this either. I mean, I've tried to sit in a tree. When I see a deer, I get such buck fever. I shake.
Even with a doe?
And that shot is horrible. You don't want to see that. They found me in a snow pile one year and my gun off in another. I had thrown such a fit that I missed it. They're like, there's no blood anywhere. Okay, sorry.
Leading to our next conversation, clumsiness. Perfect segue.
I fell down this morning.
So Tammy and I work out in the mornings because it's the only time we can. We work so hard at the job that we do here at 98Q Country that we have very little time to do anything else.
If we didn't do this at 5:30 in the morning, it would not happen.
And I always have a blast seeing her walk in because seriously, you don't see this at 6 o'clock in the morning. You see this. But she walks in, and that was the nice way to put it. But she walks in, and first thing she says to me is, I scraped my leg. And now you have to tell a story because this is hilarious.
Scraped your leg. I'm walking on. It's 5:30 in Wisconsin.
No, because you were somewhere else at 5:30 this morning.
Shut up. Frost is this thick on my porch. I have a gym bag.
How thick again?
Well, it's a makeup suitcase on this arm. My purse over here. My white dress on a hanger over here hanging from my extensions. And a cup of coffee in one hand. And I'm in shorts and a flip-flop because, it's 27 degrees and that's what
just one flip-flop, though. Shorts and a flip-flop.
Eventually, it was one flip-flop.
Okay.
I hit that front porch and bam! I don't do the splits, but I had one leg down on the sidewalk, one still upstairs, and me going, So then I paused for a moment and thought, okay, it's not broken. Nothing's broken. I wonder if I can still go to the gym.
No, it wasn't. You didn't say that this morning. Her first thought was, it might too hurt to go to the gym.
I want to. So I limped to my car, but what was really upsetting is that I just gone to Studio One Salon and Day Spa last week, and I got a pedicure, and I hit my foot so hard it knocked the nail polish off my pinky toe.
That's awesome. I have a funny story about clumsiness.
What's your
clumsiness? It's not really. It wasn't me because I'm not clumsy. However, that just happened. My grandma came up 2 weekends ago. My uncle and his son were up for the youth hunt. My grandma was up at the cabin. Now, my grandma is 77. She's had some health issues. She uses a walker. Still a very spirited woman.
He said earlier her walker wasn't walking so well.
So my uncle gets back with my cousin from the youth hunt, the morning hunt. Okay. And my grandma's there kind of hobbling. And he said, well, what's wrong? And she said, well, I fell. And he looked at her leg, and there's this, lump on her leg. And he said, well, Mom, we got to take you to the hospital.
Right.
She said, no, it's fine. I just fell. It's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, okay, fine. So
it was a lump, though?
Well, you know how like you get a bump on your arm, like
Mm-hmm.
you bang it too hard,
right.
you get a
you get
bump.
a little like frog.
Yeah, but this was not this. This was like this.
Oh.
And so he's like, okay, fine. And they say that we can, because my grandma's very persistent. When she says to do something, you do it. And if she tells you to not do something, you don't do it. So they wait, and then they go home Sunday. But it started hurting real, real bad. And so my uncle said, you know what, we have to take you to the hospital.
Oh.
Go to the hospital. They found out she broke her leg, which is amazing.
Nothing. I just broke it.
That's my whole point, is that how tough do you have to be 77 years old and break your leg and be like, dude, I got this.
And
I'm
then
cool.
you get people that'll call into work. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I'm so sick. I could be dying.
I think I sprained the tip of my pinky.
My pedicure is all screwed up. So is she okay now?
Yeah, she's fine. She's down in the hospital still. She's got a cast on and things like that. I was talking to her the other day and love the old lady to death. She's just fantastic. Talking to her on the phone is one of the most horrendous experiences you can ever have.
Why?
Because she's very animated.
And you can't see what she's doing.
And you can't see what she's doing. That's part of the fun of it. But she's also very short and to the point. So I said, Grandma, how you doing? She's angry and she's like, I hate this place. They won't let me, have a drink. They won't let me walk around.
Wait,
and all this
she
other
says they
stuff.
won't let her have a drink.
Yeah. And then after that, they won't let me walk around. There's no pause right into it. And apparently I had a stroke last night.
What?
And I'm thinking to myself, how does that just randomly happen? And how do you not care enough to make it a big deal? Oh, she's fine. Apparently she's had a bunch of mini strokes ever. But she's fine. She's as up
So she had a whole bunch of mini strokes and she wasn't aware.
Yeah, she wasn't aware of it, and I, part of her face is droopy a little bit, but I guess she's recovering. She had a stroke last year. That was, I guess there's a classification for strokes: medium, large, and dead. But
kind of like going to the coffee shop.
Yeah, it's like you can get the small,
the grande,
or the what's the biggest one? I don't know.
Venti.
That's it. Yeah, she had a grande, and this one was a small. So she.
Well, we are very glad that she's all right.
Yeah, it's so cool. She can take it. She just takes it in stride. She's like, once again, dude, got this.
Isn't the greatest thing though? The older people here in our society,
they can do anything.
In our culture, they'll just keep cutting wood until they burn their last fire. I mean, that's just really how it goes around here.
Yeah, my Uncle Junior, I think he had like 2 fingers. The others were stuck. It was like this. He had this going on. And the man could do anything.
Yeah.
He wired his entire house with this.
Yeah.
But,
that is awesome.
Very cool stuff coming up next week. It is Bully Prevention Month.
Yes.
Anti-Bullying Month.
Oh, we're so excited about
We're going to have our first guest. We are so very happy. Andrea Jean is going to join us next week from the Time Family Abuse Shelter. So next week's episode is going to be completely dedicated to that.
I had a long talk with her this afternoon, and we talked about the different kinds about children, the at-work bullies, the husband-wife, the wife that beats on the husband that beats on the wife, abuse, children abuse, child abuse, all that other
Even children who abuse their parents.
Correct.
Or bully their parents,
right,
and that happens. So. And
what she said to me today is knowledge is power, and next week we're going to give you some knowledge.
We're going to fill you in, and also starting next week, a very cool segment, about a 5-minute segment every week from here on out. We are going to be introducing you to the animals at Catkins. We're going to have a Catkins Animal Rescue of the Week, where every week we're going to bring you a different animal that's available for adoption out of Catkins, out on County Highway E. We'll tell you a little bit about it.
Shopping a little
exactly,
bit,
yeah. But we're not going to have any coupons.
No coupons.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have to tell you this because I got a kick out of it. I was on Facebook and there was a shelter that I liked or whatever because it's a phenomenal organization, but they had all dog adoptions 25% off. I'm thinking, how do you get a discount on something like this? But apparently you can. Hopefully Laura from Catkins will be here next week.
Who is our sponsor for Catkins?
That's another thing. We're going to have a sponsor for that. Thank you very much to Phillips Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Fleming and Dr. Buckley, awesome job. I take my dog there. Thank you very much for that. So that's another thing coming up.
My goat there.
Take your goat.
My goat's probably going to need some shots.
Pretty sure Roger would have a blast with that.
Oh, Jesse's been jumping over his fence lately, and he's getting a little unruly. He's about 6 months old now. So
yeah,
he's Maybe one day we'll have
reaching
Jesse.
maturity.
We'll have Jesse on our show. Earlier this week, Paul and I were listening to a lot of people complain about the camel.
Stupid camel.
I think it's so cute. But we thought in place of that, we'll give you, for this coming week, other things that have humps if you do not want to view the camel.
Yes.
Other things with humps are the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Has a hump.
A very, very old lady.
Oh, that's just rude.
Well, it was on this list.
It's your list.
My ex. A moose. A moose has a hump.
Moose has a hump.
The Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty.
And we had to talk about this because
Humpty Dumpty doesn't actually have a hump.
It's just.
It's his head.
Oval.
You're gonna have an oval.
Thanks a lot. Let's move on. I saw something really cool. Once again on Facebook, there was a bull, a Texas.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't a longhorn, so it's just a steer, basically. The steers grow that hump, and it said on there, "I'm going to show that camel how we do hump day in Texas," which I thought was awesome because everybody knows I'm not a fan of Texas. But
why are you not a fan of Texas?
I have my reasons.
Oh, that sounds.
You want to know? Facebook me, ask me.
Oh wow! And then the Humpty Dance.
Boys and girls, this is the most disappointing thing I have ever experienced in my entire life. We Googled how to do the Humpty Dance.
How do you sing it? How does it go?
Little Humpty Dance, here's your chance to do the hump.
Ow! Oh,
baby.
Something how like does the dance go? So
oh my gosh, you don't.
So the girl does a dance, and the one
she teaches you step-by-step instructions. It's a 4.5-minute video on how to basically look like every average white north of 8 male on a dance floor.
And then she says, and then you can actually go.
You can do one of these. Yeah. So, and she's going inside and she's spinning around, doing all this. So, washing windows.
Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go back to the camel, spend 5 minutes on Googling or YouTubing how to do the Humpty Dance. And you'll go right back to the camel and have no problem with it.
It's the worst experience, most disappointing experience ever in my entire life. So lots to look forward to next week. Thank you once again, Tammy.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Studio One Salon and Day Spa also.
Napa of Park Falls and Mercer. This is the local twist with Tam and Disch. Until next week.
Have a happy weekend.